My name is DJ Fife. I'm park warden here at Petroglyphs. I'm from Curve Lake First Nation, where I've spent my whole life pretty well. And I actually started working in Ontario parks because of a program they have. They still have it. At the time it's called AWEP, Aboriginal Youth Work Exchange Program, and now it's called Indigenous Youth Work Exchange Program, so just the I and the A have changed. You know, there's not a lot of places where people from Canada or anywhere can go and appreciate, you know, Indigenous history in this kind of sense. You know, you don't see petroglyph sites like this just any old place. And it's actually the largest concentration of petroglyphs in Canada. Just a quick distinction as well between petroglyphs and pictographs. Pictographs are painted images, typically, or like you know, done on top of a rock surface, and most in Ontario are along rock shorelines. Petroglyphs here are carved into the rock, and there are other places in Canada where they have those, but nothing in like a small area like this with this many. It's quite a large number of carvings there. The site was carved, or at least most likely believed to be carved between 600 to 1100 years ago. They don't see any signs of European influences like horses or ships or guns. Nothing obvious anyway that would say that the folks who made the carvings had contact with Europeans, which is why they kind of have that age range. It was at least that old. I haven't really seen a definitive rationale as to why it shouldn't be older than that, but I believe that the general understanding is that because of the soft nature of the white marble the carvings are made on, it should have eroded if it was older than that, but again, we don't know everything 100%. It's really nice to be able to come to a place that is just special to me, really, every day. And it also ties in with my identity, essentially, as an Indigenous person. I actually have really striven to make sure that that's a very strong element of my life, that I reflect that identity, and that I represent myself as a member of like my people, essentially. So this is a nice way to tie it all together for me. And in terms of the significance to First Nations and Canada's history or heritage, for First Nations people, like I haven't even touched on it, but like it's a very spiritual place. Obviously, I didn't get into why the site is there either, but most likely it was a spiritual site. It takes a lot of work to make those carvings. When you see the petroglyph site, there's a large crevice through the face of it and had water trickling down the bottom of it that sound like voices talking. It doesn't really trickle so much nowadays. There might be some stuff kind of getting down there, stopping it up from outside. It also depends on the water level. But the way the voices sounded it's believed that it made the carvers feel that, you know, there was a connection there to the spiritual world in some fashion. And typically where you find rock and water meet in at least the local First Nations culture, it generally carries a spiritual connotation to it. It's a place where people come to connect with, you know, their spiritual side, if not their cultural side or the historical side of it. You know, this is a place in the woods, and this is how the world would have looked for the people who lived at the time the carvings were made.